Fairey Battle P2332 PH F 12 Squadron on the 12th of May 1940. 6 volunteer crews took off at between 8:18 and 8:22 a.m. to bomb 2 bridges over the Albert Canal in the Belgian province of Limburg, just west of the Dutch city of Maastricht. The 6th aircraft failed to take off due to radio trouble. Fairey Battle P2332 was badly damaged by AA fire during a low-level bombing attack on the Vroenhoven bridge over the Albert Canal and force landed in the target area at approximately 9 to 9:30 a.m. All crew were captured. Crew being Flying Officer Norman Maurice Thomas, the pilot, born the 25th of May 17, enlisted the 11th of January 36 and died in May 1984. Sergeant Basil Thomas Pierce Carey, the observer, born the 17th of January 1918, enlisted the 1st of May 39 from being a cinema manager and died on the 16th of July 1983. Corporal Thomas Spread Campion, the wireless operator air gunner, born 27th of June 1920, enlisted 22nd of October 1937, was a clerk. Date of death is unknown. Here is a description of the events through the eyes of Sergeant Basil Thomas Pierce Carey. As it was my only operational flight, I have a good reason to remember it. On Whitsunday, the 12th of May 1940, we were briefed early to raid the Maastricht bridges on the Albert Canal. 3 planes from each flight were to proceed to Rethel, where we were to meet an escort of fighters, and from there we were to set course to Tongeren in Belgium, and from there we were to carry on to Maastricht. We were recognized the bridges. We were to dive bomb the targets at from 1,000 feet, pulling up to 4,500 feet to make our getaway in the most convenient way. Of the 2 bridges selected, a flight in which we were was selected the road bridge from Maastricht to Tongeren. It was about 8 a.m. when B flight took off, all 3 planes in good formation. We were airborne 5 minutes later, except for 1 plane, which apparently would not start. The crew shifted to another plane. This wouldn't start. We spent 25 minutes circling the drone, waiting for the 3rd plane, after which we set course to Rethel without it. This put us 25 minutes behind B flight, so we did not know their fate. We met no escort at Rethel, which is not surprising us. We carried on to Tongeren at a height of 7,000 feet and saw no sign of Allied forces. And upon approaching Tongeren, we sighted flary flag bursts to the northeast, which we guessed correctly to be Maastricht. So we set course for it there and then. It was about 9:30 when we met our objective, Vroenhoven Bridge. The clouds were about 50% at 4,000 feet. Since the heavy flak was occupied with another force of bombers at a higher level to us, we decided our best bet would be to dive from the clouds towards the bridge and pull out at 1,000 feet and make our getaway at low level due westward. So we had to get east of our target, and while I sighted out the plane we were leading, and which had to take to the clouds for protection. I personally was unable to see the German plane owing to being unused to the narrow sight attached to the new belly gun, with which our plane was fitted. We, in our plane, were able to make our attack and dropped our bombs almost before encountering any opposition. The bombs unfortunately did not destroy the bridge, which was very substantial, but we later in the day passed over the bridge 3 times and noticed it was badly damaged enough to cause a slow up of the advanced German forces. After dropping the bombs, we were greeted with a terrific howl of light flak shells, which seemed to shake the plane bodily and did considerable damage. I was just withdrawn my head from the bomb aiming hatch, where I had been observing the fall of the bombs, when a shell burst where my head had been and burst the glycol and petrol leads from the starboard wing route. I tried to stem the flow of the petrol, as I expected it to ignite and blow up before we could do anything about it. It was about a 4 mile west of Maastricht, where we made a forced landing not far from the road on which German mechanized forces were proceeding. The landing was good, and we were surprised we were still intact. The trigger-happy Germans in the column were still firing their rifles, and as I looked out, the pilot dashed from the cockpit and lay flat on the ground. The wireless operator did the same. But as he had to put the perspex cover down, I was not easily able to close it again in order that I could get out. So thought it prudent to wait till the firing ceased. When it did, a party of Germans were around the plane to take us prisoners. They apologized for the firing and treated us fairly well during the rest of the day. Our plane did not catch fire. We had the opportunity to talk with Dutch in Maastricht. They were sympathetic to us and our side. We were told that the bridge to the south of the one we attacked had been blown up by the Belgian officer at the cost of his life. We had to spend the day to the west of the city until we could get through the city, since all the regular bridges on the river had been demobilized and the Germans were using about 2 pontoon bridges. Certainly the town was a bottleneck. But for the enemy, as the east side of the river, all the back streets and most of the main ones were blocked by transport. We travelled from Maastricht to Dusseldorf by road and passed through Aachen, where we saw another large German column, this time horse-drawn.